Good morning, children. Myself, Mrs. Archana. Today, I will explain you a new lesson in history. The name of our lesson is Vedic Civilization. I repeat, the Vedic Civilization. Children, in the second lesson of history, sources of history, we have learnt about the period of Vedic literature from 1500 BCE onwards. Okay, the Vedas and post-Vedic literature form an important source of ancient Indian history. We had learned about the Brahmanas, the Upanishads, the Ramayana and Mahabharata, Jain and Buddhist literature. Yes, in short. Now, in this lesson, the Vedic civilization, we shall learn about the different Vedas and Vedic literature in detail. Children, after the decline of Harappan civilization, after 1500 BCE onwards, Aryans came and settled on the banks of Sapta Sindhu region, that is, the land of seven rivers, or it was also known as land of God. It is the present day Punjab, land of seven rivers, Sapta Sindhu region. Okay, this Vedic period is divided into two parts, two stages, the early Vedic period and the later Vedic period. Now, let us start with this lesson. The first topic is the Vedic literature. The civilization that is based on Vedic literature is known as Vedic civilization. The Aryans, I told you just now that Aryans came and settled on the banks of Saptasindhu. Okay, so the religious literature of the Aryans were known as the Vedas, and the civilization that is based on Vedic literature is known as Vedic civilization. The Vedas are considered to be our earliest literature. The Vedas were composed by many sages or rishis. Some Vedic hymns were composed by women. Okay, the Vedas, it was composed by sages. You know the Rishi Muni. Yeah? Yes. And even in those times, there were women who composed different Vedic hymns. Vedic literature is in Sanskrit. Vedic literature is very rich and diverse. The Rig Veda is considered to be the first text. It is in the form of verses. There are four Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and Atharva Veda. I repeat, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and Atharva Veda. The Vedic texts are known as. Ved means to know. The term Veda derives from Vid. It means knowledge. The Vedas have been preserved through the oral tradition. The Vedas are also called as Shruti. I told you in the previous lesson, we had learned that earlier these Vedas were not in a written form. It was passed on from generation to generation orally. Later on, the Vedas were written down. So these Vedas, which were written down, it came to be known as Vedic literature, and it was wrote in Sanskrit. The Rig Veda is the first composition, first text, okay, of Vedic literature. And there are many verses. Yeah, Rig Veda, it is written in different verses. There are 4 Vedas, that is Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharva Veda. The Vedic text, the book in which the Vedas are written, the text are known as Samhita, and Vid means to know. Okay, Vid, Vid means to know. And the term Veda, we got this term Veda from Ved. It has been derived from Ved, means knowledge. Ved means knowledge. Okay, the Vedas have been preserved through the oral tradition. The Vedas are also called as Shruti. So this is clear to you now? The different Vedas? Okay. Now let us learn in detail all the 4 Vedas. The first Veda we are going to see now is Rig Veda Samhita. I told you children what is the meaning of Samhita. The Vedic texts are known as Samhita. So it is called as Rig Veda Samhita, okay, Yajur Veda Samhita, Sama Veda Samhita and Atharva Veda Samhita, the Vedic text. So first let us see Rig Veda Samhita. Each verse of the Veda is known as a Richa. So the Veda consisting of Richas is called Rig Veda. Okay, the Veda which has all these verses in it, Richas, consisting of Richas, is called as Rig Veda. What is the meaning of Richa? A Richa means a verse composed to praise a deity. Okay, what is the meaning of Richa? Richa is a verse where the different deities, God, are praised. Okay, in Hindu religion, like Hindu people, all our ancestors, Aryans, they used to worship animal, plants, okay, different forces of nature. Yes, so Richa means a verse composed to praise a deity. Deity means God or Almighty. When a number of Richas are put together to praise a particular deity, the poetic composition is called a sutta. You understood, children? Number of Richas. Yeah? Richa put together, yeah, to praise a particular deity, and the poetic composition of this vichar is called as sukta. The Rig Veda consists of many suktas composed to praise different deities. So in Rig Veda, you will come across with different suktas. You will know about different suktas uh, which composed. It has been composed to praise the different almighties or different deities. Yeah. So Rig Veda Samhita. You understood this Veda, the first Veda. Okay. Now let me explain you our second Veda. That is Yajur Veda Samhita. The Yajur Veda contains mantras uttered during a yajna. Yajur Veda provides guidance about how and when the different mantras must be chanted during yajna rites. This text includes the verses of poetic incantation and their explanation in prose. Now, children, you must have seen when Pandit or the priest comes to your house, yeah, to perform a puja or yajna. Okay, so he chants mantras. Yes, he chants the different mantras. We don't know the meaning of those mantras. Yeah, but those mantras is mentioned how to chant the mantras. Yeah, or for what occasion. Suppose you have the Havan, yeah, puja Havan, or suppose if you have bought a new house, so for that yajna, so that they chant the priest, they chant mantras. Okay, so Yajur Veda, it contains mantras uttered during a yajna. If you see Ramayana, Mahabharata serials, you must have come across the scene. Yeah, there are certain scenes, no? In Aranyakas, in the forest, you must have seen the rishis, they are sitting in front of the yajna and they chant mantra. Okay, they pour the ghee and offering their offering done in the yajna. Okay, so Yajurveda it contains mantras uttered during yajna, and Yajurveda provides guidance of how to chant the mantra during the yajna rites. Okay, now next is Samaveda Samhita. Samaveda provides guidance on singing Rig Vedic verses to set rhythm and tune at the time of yajna rites. The Samaveda has contributed in a major way in laying the foundation of Indian music. Samaveda Samhita, it just provides a guidance on how to sing Rig Vedic composition or verses, okay, in a rhythmic form or tune. The yajna rites, priest when he performs yajna, havan or yajna, so he chants mantra. So there is a rhythm or tune, certain tune given to that yajna or mantras. Okay, so Samaveda it has laid the foundation of Indian music. Now the last Veda is Atharva Veda Samhita. The Atharva Veda is named after Atharva Rishi. There was this Atharva Rishi. So, from his name, Atharva Veda Samhita, this Atharva Veda name is derived. This Veda is different from the other three Vedas. It is more concerned with many things in the day-to-day life of the people. It includes solutions to adversities and diseases. It also provides information about medicinal herbs. The Atharva Veda provides guidance to a king about the way he should administer his kingdom. Okay, there is a lot of information provided in Atharva Veda. Yes, Atharva Veda is different from among all three Vedas. It tells you how to solve our day-to-day problem. How there is a solution to the different problems and diseases, okay, of our life, in our life. It provides information about medicinal herbs, how to cure the disease, or which type of medicinal herbs are used for what kind of diseases, okay, and how to solve our day-to-day problem. All this guidance is given in Atharva Veda. Along with this, it also provides guidance to a king about the way he should administer his kingdom. Yes, so now I have explained you all the four Vedas: Rig Veda Samhita, Yajur Veda Samhita, Samaveda Samhita, and Atharva Veda Samhita. Now the next is the Brahmana text. Aranyakas and Upanishads were written after the composition of the Samhitas. They are also included in Vedic literature. We have learned about all the four Vedas, which are the part of Vedic literature. But along with the four Vedas, we have Brahmana text, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. Okay, they are also the part of our Vedic literature. Now, let us see the first, that is Brahmana text. They were composed to provide guidance on using Vedic mantras in Yajna ritual. Each Veda has independent text called Brahmanas. Okay, they were composed, they provide guidance on how to use the different mantras in yajna rituals. Okay, the different yajnas are uh, held, means for different rituals. Okay, yajna are performed for different rituals. So it gives you guidance on how to make use of the different Vedic mantra. This is called as Brahmanas. Next is Aranyakas. Aranyakas consist of the reflections or thoughts expressed after meditating with deep concentration in forest or wilderness. Aranyakas are concerned with accurate performance of yajna rites. Aranyakas, Aranya means forest. Okay, earlier the sages or rishis used to meditate deep inside the Aranyas. Okay, they used to sit for years and meditate. Yes, with deep concentration. And the Aranyakas are concerned with accurate performance of yajna rites. So how to perform our yajna rites accurately. This information is provided in Aranyaka. And the next is Upanishad. The term Upanishad indicates knowledge acquired by sitting at the feet of the teacher. You know, earlier children used to sit at the feet of the teacher for acquiring knowledge. You must have heard about Gurukul, isn't it? During Ramayana, Mahabharata days, children had to go along with their teacher in deep forest for education, to take education. And they have to uh, leave everything with their parents or their luxurious life and go with their teacher and stay in the forest and acquire knowledge. And there they had to learn the different things. Okay, the knowledge they acquired was about nature, about different day-to-day challenges of life, how to face day-to-day challenges of life. All this was taught by the teacher. Okay, and teacher was considered as means they were known as guru. It was the position of God. A place of God was given to teacher. That is why it has been called as Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. This mother said that teacher was considered as a God. Okay? Human beings have always wondered about events like life and death. It is not easy to find answers to them. The Upanishads discuss such serious and profound issues. In Upanishads, all the serious issues, life, death, life after death, everything, all these issues were discussed in Upanishads. The four Vedas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and the Upanishads were composed over a period of 1500 years. Okay, I repeat, the four Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda, then Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. All this were composed over a period of 1500 years. During this long period, the Vedic civilization underwent many changes. The Vedic literature is an important source for the study of those changes and of the day-to-day life in the Vedic period. So now I have taught you about the Vedic literature, the different Vedas, okay, yeah, which we have learned just now. Now let us move on to our next topic, that is family system, day-to-day life. How was the family system during the Vedic period? Joint family system was prevalent in the Vedic period. Okay, the Grihapati was the head of the family. Grihapati. Who is this Grihapati? A man responsible for the family. Till now, even in some of the houses, we have joint family system. Okay, some people they still have joint family system, like uh, they stay with their grandparents, parents, uncle, aunt, okay, cousin. So this is joint family system, and the head of the family, okay, grandfather, or who is the eldermost member of the family, he is known as the Grihapati. He is the man responsible for the family. He has the in charge of the whole family. His family included his old parents, wife, children, and also the families of the children, the younger brothers, and their families. This family system was patriarchal. Okay, this kind of joint family system, it was also known as, this system was known as patriarchal. In the initial period, there are references to women scholars such as Lopamudra, Gargi, and Maitri in Vedic literature. In Vedic literature, Vedic period, there were women scholars like Lopamudra, Gargi, and Maitri. But slowly, later on, slowly, the restriction on women went on increasing, and their position in the family and society became secondary. Okay, women were not given their due rights. Okay, and their position became secondary. The houses during the Vedic period were earthen or wattle and daub construction. Wattle means woven lattice or wooden strips made of wooden, and it was which is daubed with clay mixed with cow dung. Clay or soft soil, okay, mixed with cow dung. The houses were made of wattle and daub. Okay, a house was also called as griha or shala. The diet of the people mainly consisted of cereals like wheat, barley, and rice. From this, they made different preparations. Words like yava, godhum, vrihi, etc. can be found in the Vedic literature. Yava means barley, godhum, wheat, vrihi, rice. I repeat, yava means barley. Barley crop was known as yava. Okay, then godhum, wheat, and vrihi, rice. The Vedic people relished milk. Okay, they liked to drink milk, then yogurt, ghee, butter, honey. Black gram, that is urad dal. Yeah, we used to make idli, no, urad dal. Okay, it is known as black gram. Then lentil, masoor, and sesame and meat were also part of their diet. See, look at the picture, children. On this page, page number 16, they are the houses, the Vedic houses, which was made of wattle and daub. Okay, this is how the houses were constructed. Yeah, with clay mixed with cow dung. Then the people in the Vedic period used cotton and woolen garments. They also used valkals or clothes made from barks of trees. Similarly, animal skins were also used as clothing. During Vedic period, people used cotton and woolen garments. Okay, and clothes or valkal. It's also known as valkal. Also, it was made from barks of trees. And animal skins were also used for clothing. Men and women used ornaments of gold, flower, flower garlands, strings made of beads. Now those who were rich and all, they used like this, yeah, queen and all, they used gold. Okay, but some people, yeah, uh, they used flower garlands, yeah, and some ornaments were made of beads. A kind of pendant called nishka seems to have been popular. It was also used as currency. Singing, playing musical instruments, dance, board games, chariot race, and hunting were the means of recreation. Means during free time, yeah, leisure time, uh, they used to enjoy with all this musical instrument. Yeah, singing, playing, musical instrument, dance, board games. They used during recreation. Their main musical instruments were veena, shatatantu, cymbals, and the conch. Look at the picture displayed on the screen, children. There are different Vedic musical instruments. I repeat, veena, shatatantu, cymbals, and the conch. Percussion instruments like damru and mridanga were also used. What is the meaning of percussion? Percussion means the instrument when you hit it, it makes a sound. Okay, so percussion instruments like damru and mridanga were also used. With this, we have finished our first part of Vedic civilization. Children, I have divided this lesson into two parts. Okay, so today I have taught you the Vedic literature, uh, Rig Veda, Ajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda, then Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishads, and I taught you about the family system and day-to-day life of Vedic people. Okay. Now in the next session, that is part 2, we will learn about the agriculture, animal husbandry, economic and social life. Okay, and religious ideas, and the last political system. Okay, with this I have finished with the first part. Thank you, children.